Welcome to MomsTown365, the daily podcast for mom creators. I'm Mary Goulet.
And I'm Heather Ryder, and we're shining a light on you, mom creator, and along the way, we're going to be bringing you some tips, tricks, shortcuts, and breakthroughs.
That's right. So in this episode, which is a really fun one for us, the secret to creativity. We can be awash in inspiration, but very few ventures can be like a canvas that's as big as a room and a person is standing there just throwing paint on it with buckets and big brushes. That's creative in their own right. However, we're going to have to find some structure, a little bit of structure, to let the creative, inspired, the muse be bold.
And everyone's creative.
Yes.
You know, and even if you don't think you are creative I think sometimes creativity is attached to being a great artist or being really good at cooking in the kitchen but that's not necessarily like creativity can come through science, it can come through math, it can come through having a baby.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What is it that you always used to say about inherent creativity? Like it's inherent in us?
What was my line?
You can create a life. Let me help you out.
Okay. Yep, you're right. A mom can create a life in 40 days while she's
40 weeks.
40 weeks. 40 days. Wow, what am I, an elephant?
Well, we just sped up gestation. You're welcome.
In 40, really, exactly. You can create a life in 40 weeks, even while you're sleeping. Imagine what you can create in your own life while you're awake.
Yes.
Phew. Haven't said that phrase in a while, but it's true.
That's inherent creativity. Like
yes.
As human beings, we are inherently creative. Men and women, we're all creative beings, and how we express our creativity comes in different ways. So if you're feeling like you don't have a lot of creativity, and I think creativity ebbs and flows throughout your day or your weeks or your life, or sometimes you're feeling really in the moment and very creative and you can take on things and create beautiful outcomes or contribute amazing gifts to the world, and then sometimes you kind of feel flat.
Right, you're a little arid on the creative thoughts. So here's an example in my life. I'm not a foodie. I was raised by my grandmother to be a baker, and I love baking. You have to follow the rules of baking, otherwise you can ruin the recipe. So when it came to cooking, I didn't start cooking until my 40s. And I'm a very Julia Child cook. I prepare all the ingredients and all the little dishes and do all the chopping in advance. But there are some cooks that a bomb went off in their kitchen because they just, flour's flying and everything's going, and at the end, but I clean as I cook. And to me, that's my way of being creative.
It is, and that gives you whatever kind of gives you that comfort in your creative process. Everyone's creative process is different. So I think that's a great metaphor about the different way people cook. Sometimes people are very measured. Yeah. Sometimes people are very methodical and tidy about and that's creative. That doesn't mean it's not creative. And then like you said, sometimes people are just throwing in a handful of spices and it's like, okay, let's see how this works out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they sit there. What do you think?
Well, and when I was a kid, I was so curious. And I think as an adult, we have to be curious.
Yes.
Curious is, like my daughter Portia, she went through this pastel painting phase that I was buying these canvases at Michael's all the time and different kinds of paints. And then she was totally into makeup. Well, she still is into makeup. Her nickname is Venmo. To go to Ulta. But now she'll watch these makeup shows on YouTube, and she's fabulous at it. She's not landed on something that I see as a career coming, but she's young. She's a freshman in college. But I love her curiosity.
Yes.
I love that she goes towards something.
And it's creative and exploring and learning more about things. So that, I think, a great tip for creativity is just exploring different things and trying different things. I loved I've done all kinds of different crazy things that I'm maybe not that great at, but I love doing
Well,
it.
and you know what? You shocked me when you told me that you make jewelry. I'm like, well,
Enamel jewelry with
I don't
a
even know what
kiln
that
and a
is.
fire.
I don't even know what that is.
Enamel jewelry?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you take I'm not going to go into that, but you just take a little, your metal or whatever, and then you have your powdered glass, and then you fire it, and it turns into something beautiful.
Wow.
That you can wear on yourself.
Well, that's awesome. And then you started the donut business.
Yeah.
That's creative.
Yes. Tried my hand at calligraphy, no pun intended.
Well, I used to knit, play the piano.
You used to knit?
Yeah, and I crocheted like a madwoman.
You did?
Yeah, and I needlepoint.
Okay, I've known you so long, and all of a sudden I'm learning that you knit? Do you still knit?
Any scarf that you see me wearing this winter is made by me.
Really?
Yes.
Forever it's been like that?
I restarted knitting because my mom used to knit and sew. Mm-hmm. But probably 8 years ago, I restarted knitting, and I just purple sweaters, or not sweaters, scarves, lavender.
So fun, right?
Yeah, and it's better than just staying in my head.
Yes.
Knit one, purl two, I gotta think.
It's so funny you bring up the knitting, because you remember I told you about my grandmother. They used to have that crochet group called the Happy Hookers. And they would get together every Thursday. And for years, they saw each other through births and deaths and graduations and marriages and divorces. But they would get together over a creative pursuit. Like some would knit, some would needlepoint, some would just wrap hangers with yarn. Do you remember those?
Oh, my Lord, that's so funny.
Do you remember wrapping hangers with yarn so that,
the clothes would stay on it better? Yes. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so think about what you may have done as a kid that you want to revisit.
Yeah, I love that.
What have you always wanted to do? I'll tell you what I've always wanted to do.
Lady in the front row with her hand up.
Yep, that's me. I've always wanted to be a sculptor. Like, get the clay.
Oh, is it because of that movie?
Well, I don't know if it's that movie, but I'm a tactile person like that.
What was that movie with Patrick Swayze? Ghost?
Something.
Was it Ghost?
Yeah.
Was it just Ghost? I don't know. I can't remember. We should Google that and find out. But anyway, okay.
Yeah, it looks like fun.
Yeah.
So, and then yesterday I went to what? Go ahead, go.
I got so excited. I bumped into the microphone. Working with your hands.
Yes.
Is very powerful in creativity. So it doesn't matter. That's kind of a really good tip to get your creative juices going, is do something with your hands.
Well, and also, just like negativity begets negative experiences,
yes,
creativity begets creative thoughts. And if you're really stuck, go vacuum or take a long shower, because when you're doing these monotonous type of movements, let creativity drop in, because otherwise our mind is bogged down by, how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay these bills? I didn't anticipate the water heater breaking on, and you stay in that mode. Break out as fast as you can into some creative venture or activity.
Don't go open your power bill if you're looking for creativity.
Right? No, wait until you're really in that creative force, because then you're like, okay, the problem is the power bill is too high, but I've got the solution.
Yeah.
I'm inspired. I know I've got this, and I can do this.
And some people find like their creativity comes through music or meditation, whatever it is. Understand how you tap into your creativity.
That's right. Change your state and get there. Okay, head over to MomsTown.com and sign up for the newsletter. We're creating something special, and we want you to be part of it.
Be bold, be creative. MomsTown365, here for you every day.